Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Ashkapietism. I haven't uploaded the video in a long while, and now I'm back. And I'm uploading today this lecture about Joseph and the genital principle. Now, in rabbinic Mosaic tradition, Joseph is associated with the genital principle. If we create a map of biblical types and map them on the human body, then Joseph corresponds to the genital organ. This is how it is understood. Now today I'm going to talk about the ramifications of this identification, its justification based on the Bible, and basically I'm going to explain the entire breadth of meaning of Joseph being identified with the genital principle, which is understood traditionally to be the productive principle, the creative principle, the extensive principle of the human body. So first of all, we're gonna look into the blessing of Jacob to Joseph and to his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. First of all, in Genesis 49, Joseph is called by Jacob a fruitful bough. This blessing is meant to ascribe to him a nature of multitude of reproduction. That's in contrast to other tribes that are blessed by Jacob to be regal. For example, Judah. Each tribe has a quality that qualifies it, and Joseph is qualified with being fruitful and being productive. And earlier in the blessing of Jacob to Ephraim and Manasseh in Genesis 48, then Jacob blesses them to grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And what is traditionally known is the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh were the largest tribes in the kingdom of Israel, and they were reproducing without any regulation and without any deficiencies, and they represent the principle of multitude, of reproduction, of proliferation. So this is the first hint that we get from the Bible that Joseph is identified with the principle of fruitfulness, of proliferation, of generation. Now I want to add another insight from the Bible, and that is that the thigh is largely seen as a euphemism or allegory of the Bible for the testicle. Ephraim and Manasseh are the two thighs of Joseph. They are the two testicles to the genital organ of Joseph. Now, the thigh, it is understood that the thigh it is understood by the mainstream exegesis that the thigh is a code of the Bible for the genital organ, and we see a number of mentions of the thigh in different contexts. So first of all, we see that the souls that come out of Jacob's loins and come with him to Egypt in Genesis 46 and Exodus 1, they come out of his loins, and the Hebrew word for loins is yerech, which means thigh, and it is a word that is used for thigh in other places in the Bible. Second of all, we see that Jacob halted upon his thigh, his left thigh. His left thigh signifies the principle of it signifies the same principle as the tribe of Ephraim. This is why Jacob says to Joseph, "Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh," in Genesis 47. That's how he brings Joseph to take the oath to bury him in Canaan. So the thigh is understood to be an allegory or a euphemism for reproduction, for the genital organ, for the testicles, and so walking and standing are allegories or euphemism of the Bible for reproduction. So first of all, mystery of the citron. The citron is the fruit that is associated with Joseph. Why? Because it is called the bough of goodly tree. In Leviticus 23, when the festival of the tabernacles is instituted, then the citron is called the bough of the goodly tree. Now the word for goodly trees in this verse is hadar. The same word is used to depict the glory of the firstborn bullock in Deuteronomy 33, when Moses blesses Joseph, he says, his glory, his hadah, is like the firstling of his bullock. So it is understood that there is an identification of the bullock with the citron. And now we also know that Joseph is a fruitful bough. He is also a fruit, a bough. That is, as we understand, Joseph is a glorious or goodly bough. So we understand that citron also signifies this principle of proliferation, of fruitfulness and abundance. Now I want to talk a little bit about the connection of the citron and the Pisces to the genital organ. First of all, you see here in the slide I added a graph of the vesica Pisces that is two circles that whose circumference crosses each other's centers, and they create in the middle a space that is called the vesica Pisces because it's traditionally understood to be in the shape of a fish. And the Pisces that is created in this space in the middle has been a symbol of early Christians. Now, why is that? The symbol is traditionally associated with the principle of generation, of reproduction. Now, the reason is that the space in the middle not only resembles a fish, but also a citron. As you see in the picture that I added in the slide, you see that the citron fits into the space in the middle of the vesica Pisces. This is why when Jacob blesses Ephraim and Manasseh, he says to them, "Let them grow into a multitude." There's one Hebrew word for grow into multitude, that is vayidgu, and it is derived etymologically from the word dag, which means fish. So it is understood that Ephraim and Manasseh proliferate abundantly like fishes. So it is understood that Joseph is identified not only with the citron, but also with the Pisces, with the fish. This is why the fish and the citron are symbols of the genital organ. This is why the genital organ also in its shape resembles the fish. And then we understand that the two circles of the vesica Pisces are testicles, and the part in the middle is the genital organ. Now, I want to talk about the left or northern testicle, that is the left thigh of Jacob. Now, Jacob was outing in his left thigh, hence he was castrated in his left testicle by the angel whom he was wrestling. Now, we know that the face of the ox is on the left side in Ezekiel 1:10. That is the ox, that is the bullock of Joseph, in Deuteronomy 33, verse 17. So it is understood that there is an identification of Joseph with the left side, with the north, and with Jacob's left testicle, that is the tribe of Ephraim. Now, Joseph, it is understood for many reasons that are too deep for me to expound here, that Joseph does, in touching Jacob's thigh, he rectifies the thighs of the north. The which is translated in the King James Bible as sides of the north. In Psalm 48:2, it is written of Mount Zion being on the side of the north. And in Leviticus 1 verse 11, it is written about the sacrifices being conducted on the north side of the altar, on the side of the altar northwards. So it is understood that the sides of north are not on some level the land of Egypt. This is why Joseph went to Egypt. And this is why, according to the Talmud, Joseph, when he was in Egypt, he learned 70 languages, the 70 languages of the 70 nations. And those 70 languages correspond to the 70 souls which are said to come out of Jacob's thigh in Exodus 1:5. So it is understood from all of these significations that Joseph represents the principle of rectifying the left thigh of Jacob. So to summarize this lecture, Joseph represents the genital principle and the principle of proliferation and multitude. Joseph rectifies Jacob's halting thigh, which is the left side of the ox, a symbol of Joseph. The citron and the fish are symbols of Joseph that signify the genital organ. So I hope I made some things clear to you today, and this is what I made this video. A lot of what I'm saying in this video is taken from my books that I've written, specifically my most recent book, Symbols of Christ. And if you want to see more about this subject, then buy the book that I posted, Symbols of Christ, and also my next book, which I may be, God willing, post sometime in the coming year. So thank you for watching and listening, and bye bye.